We're entering an era where mining is a solution to virtually everything. We're going to need mining if we're going to hit any of our climate change goals. We're going to need mining of many different minerals.
Hi, welcome to the Assay TV. We're delighted to be joined today by Jonathan Goodman, Chief Executive Officer of Dundee Corporation. So it's great to have you here.
It's good to be here. Thank you
so much for joining us. So I know you've got lots of things to say, and we've seen you on stage at the event. It's been really great. So first of all, tell us what brought you here.
Well, Dundee Corporation, we're an active mining investment company, and we invest primarily in the junior golds and the junior mining companies. And the reason we're here and the reason we're doing what we do is we believe we are at the precipice of a generational opportunity investing in these companies. The returns on these companies have been very poor for many years, and we believe that these investments are now at stage that warrant significant investments, and that, as I said, it's a generational opportunity.
Yeah, you've been in the industry. You've built a business in the industry, though. So, how have you been generating good returns in such a tough environment for the juniors?
Well, first of all, the mining industry, when a serious transaction gets done in this industry, it usually starts with a confidentiality agreement being signed, and that usually is for a bank, a royalty company, a streamer. We've taken that exact same approach. We have at Dundee, we have a technical team of people that I've worked with for many years, a very strong technical team. And when we're interested in a company, we sign a CA, we download their data, we work with their data, we manipulate it, we stress test it, we risk adjust it, and we make sure that this is a very robust project. Once we get there, we have the confidence, when we really like it, to make a very significant investment. We often get involved at the board level, but we are always very actively engaged with the management, telling them what our views are, how they should best de-risk that project, and the best way of moving this thing forward.
Great, thanks. And you mentioned you see this as being kind of a generational tipping point in the industry. What's driving that?
Well, what drove it is a flight of capital from the industry. And we can talk all day about reasons why capital left, but truthfully, it doesn't matter. Capital's gone and it hasn't yet come back. But the real opportunities, a great example is you take the GDXJ, that's the Junior Gold Mining ETF. It was launched in 2009. So I'm not playing with data. This is the date it was launched. Since the date it was launched, the gold price has gone up by somewhere around 75%, and the index itself has gone down by 60%. It shouldn't happen. You may argue that the stocks were overvalued or whatever, but they should not be down by 60% with the gold price up 75%. And that's also true of non-gold. It's true of copper stocks. It's true of nickel stocks. And what's happened is generalist investors have left the mining sector. And now we're entering an era where mining is a solution to virtually everything. We're going to need mining if we're going to hit any of our climate change goals. We're going to need mining of many different minerals. We're also in an era where we're talking about de-globalization. Countries are very scared, and they're worried about things like the US dollar. So you're seeing central banks put a lot more gold in place. We're seeing debt levels of countries hit levels where people are starting to feel more like gold should be a part of their portfolio. So between the gold, the base metals, and the specialty metals, we're going to see a lot of mining's got to make a very significant resurgence. And that's also a good thing, because mining is a great business. It solves a lot of economic problems. When you build a mine, you don't build a mine in a big city, you build a mine in a rural area. One of the largest problems in the world is rural unemployment. Mines help fix that, and they don't just fix it. Mines tend to pay in the top quartile of salary. So when you build a mine in a rural area, you are bringing a lot of wealth and a lot of good things to that area. And as an industry, we know how to practice good ESG. We know how to practice good environmental practices. So building a mine is a lot better economic proposition for a lot of these areas than it was 30 or 40 years ago. So we think it's not just a great time to be in the mining industry, we think it's a great opportunity to be investing in the mining industry.
And do you think, is there a kind of a dissonance between the kind of reliance that we're looking at having on mining and the perception of it? Is that something that's playing into the capital, not necessarily being there?
Absolutely, but that dissonance has to go away. The same people that are arguing that we shouldn't do mining are giving their girlfriends diamond rings, and they're driving cars and bicycles, and they're everything we do, mining touches every aspect of our life. And we're not about to change the quality of our lives. We need to make sure that the mining is done properly. And I say that I hate actually saying it, because most mining companies I know are way ahead of the curve. They're already practicing great ESG and environmental practices. So it's more a job of telling the story rather than changing the story.
Yeah. You mentioned there being a flight of capital, and obviously you have built your business around this, and you remained in the industry. So, how have you, you mentioned obviously how you've made returns, but how have you kind of taken advantage of some of this structural deficit that we see?
Well, we've taken advantage of the structural deficit in the industry by being able to provide capital to securities and businesses that are historically trading at distressed prices. I mean, if you were to take the database to create all of the drilling of the companies we're investing in most cases it would cost more money to put that database together than we're buying that database at a discount to what it would cost. And it's good data that's telling a good story. So it's kind of like you're drilling, you're having success, and yet you're still letting people buy in for lower prices. That doesn't happen. And through my 35 years of doing this is the only time in the industry where you've had that happen on a regular basis. Occasionally you'd see a one-off. So for us, the opportunity to put our capital to efficient use in businesses at these types of prices, and it's generational. It's you don't see it very often.
Yeah, a real opportunity.
People that are just coming into the industry are going to think this is the way it's always been. It hasn't been. When I started my career, mining stocks traded at premium to asset values. Now they trade at 25% of asset values. What a great thing.
Yeah. How did you get into the industry? How did Dundee Corporation come to be?
Well, I mean, Dundee Corporation was originally founded by my father, but I got into the industry. I was originally a mining analyst, and I stayed with that for a number of years, and then I became a portfolio manager. And I like to say, when I was a mining analyst, everyone expected me to know everything. And when I became a portfolio manager, I realized how little I knew as a mining analyst. And after doing that for a number of years, I took a closed-end fund, which was Dundee Precious Metals, and converted it to an operating company. And we took the closed-end fund and we converted it, and we built it into what's now a $1.7 billion operating business that makes a lot of money and has a tremendous group of people. And fortunately, even then I realized how little I know. So every stage of my career, I realized how much more there is to learn, and how much, but I'm in a fortunate position now because I've done all of these different jobs. I know what it's like to be in the shoes of the analyst. I know what it's like to be a portfolio manager in their shoes. And I certainly know what it's like to be a mining executive. And I think that plays to a big advantage because, I've done all of these things, and as a team, we can actually work with these companies and that we invest in to help them understand the complexities of what they're dealing with and how to properly navigate risk in a way that will best suit their shareholders.
Great. So yeah, you've sat on both sides of the table. You've got a great perspective on it all.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, we really look forward to seeing what comes next for Dundee, and it was really great to have you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. We really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.